Hey Bucks fans, Mr. Right here, and still enjoying my Victory Monday cigar, and wanted to do another video. I like to keep my videos kind of under 5 minutes, and the last one was like pushing 7.5. So anyway, we just had the national championship, NFC national championship game, and wow, wow. And in the last video I mentioned we did what we had to do. And what we had to do was we had to build the lead because, and I hinted at it, but I didn't follow through with everything I wanted to discuss about it. But if you build up a lead on Aaron Rodgers, you've got a really good chance to just beat him because he's not a quarterback that comes back. He's got, compared to his peers, he's got minuscule amount of fourth quarter comebacks. Everybody else has got like 3 times his amount. Drew Brees, Dan Marino, Tony Romo, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, they've all got a whole bunch more than he does. So one of the tricks to dealing with Aaron Rodgers is you just build up a lead and try to keep going. And we kind of saw that in our first game with him where he got up 10 points. And that clicked on Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady turned on, and that was it. Like, all right, we got this. And then, bam, we just scored 38 unanswered points. And it was so bad for Aaron. Like, I can't do this. I'm done. And he left the game, I think, in the late third quarter, something like that. Fourth quarter. Like, yeah, he gave up because he folded. And that's what he does. And that's something I think is going to hold him back from the greatest all-time discussion. Yeah, he's going to have all these passing yards and passing touchdowns, and he's one of the best throwers that I think we've seen. But you get up on him, you can get into his head, man. You can get into his head, and he's done. And I think that's what happened yesterday. We went, 28, built up 28-10 or something like that, and then they slowly started chipping away at it. And then Tom Brady had those 3 interceptions, and those really freaked me out. Like, I was going bonkers. But our defense bailed us out on 2 of them, and I think they got a field goal on the other one, something like that. Like, they got 3 points off of the turnovers. We ended up getting 14 off of our turnovers. So we really won the turnover battle yesterday, and that was a huge, huge difference. And I think we're going to have that against the Chiefs, and they're not a high turnover team. But I'll save that for another video. Anyway, our defense, man, they bailed us out. They bailed out Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, like I mentioned in the last video, was just good enough. And maybe that's what it means to be the GOAT. You just got to be good enough. You got to be good enough to get that win. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the wins. You can have all the skill in the world. Drew Brees, Dan Marino, John Elway. But we always think Joe Montana is better than all those guys. Why? Because Joe Montana went to the Super Bowl and was dominant and won. And so Tom Brady, I mean, take a look at some of his Super Bowl performances outside of the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl performance. It wasn't like he was out there tearing it up like some of those other guys did when they won their Super Bowls. But he was always just good enough. And so maybe that is what it is to be the GOAT, to be just good enough to get that win, to bring home that ring. And I mentioned earlier this year that if we make the Super Bowl, I'm probably going to have to finally admit that Tom Brady is the GOAT of GOATs, as it were. He's the ultimate GOAT. And the trajectory was there, And I still like Peyton Manning. Like, to me, Peyton Manning was the GOAT or is the GOAT. I'm basically there with Tom Brady to call him the GOAT, but those 3 interceptions, man, they really got to me. But we still won, and he still did what we had to do to pull out the win. And that was something that in the playoffs especially, Peyton Manning kind of struggled with. I think his playoff record is pretty even, whereas Tom Brady he's winning at a clip of like three wins, one loss. So like he's winning 75% of his playoff games. Like that's beyond impressive. Anyway, we win the Super Bowl. I think there's no question. There's no question. What can you say? You know what I mean? Like, what can you say? He's done everything except two things that Peyton Manning has done, and that is revolutionize the position and taken 4 head coaches to the Super Bowl. But he'll have everything else. Yardage. He's probably going to get the yardage, especially next year. Touchdowns, wins, Super Bowl rings, playoff wins. He'll basically have it all. And at that point, there's no valid argument. Like right now, and it's still a pretty weak argument, Peyton Manning, maybe. Because he revolutionized the position and he took 4 different head coaches to the Super Bowl. So that's kind of my take on the game and the current situation with who's the real GOAT. It's Tom Brady. It's pretty much Tom Brady. So anyway, till the next video, guys.